Hey, it's Craig from TC Helicon. Today I want to go over the ins and outs of Ditto Mis Looper. It's really straightforward and there's not a whole lot to learn, but there's a couple of key controls and inputs and outputs and things that we should go over so you know what you're doing. The first thing you're going to look on the back here and see is that there's a few connections. You've got a mic input, pretty straightforward, plug your mic in there. You've got a mic output, pretty straightforward, connect to whatever else you're going out to. And then you've got a power connection and a USB connection. Power is for power, it requires it to make sound, and the USB connection is for updates if there are any in the future. Let's get started here. I've got a few cables tucked in my pants so that I can make an efficient job of connecting everything up here. I've got a mic in my pocket, you know, this is how we do these things. I'm going to connect up a mic, and I'm going to connect up the power, and then I'm going to get a signal out of the unit, and we'll go from there. So I've got everything set up here. I've got mic plugged in, I've got the cables plugged in here, mic, and I've got it running out to a mixer. So when I talk through the microphone, the mic goes through the looper and out to my mixer. Now, one of the things you'll notice that's sort of conspicuously absent on Ditto Mis Looper is gain control. The gain is done for you inside the box here, and basically as closely as possible replicates the gain of the mic out of the output of Ditto Mis Looper, so that at a mixer, the level that it's receiving is very, very similar to the mic, so you don't have to mess around with multiple gain stages. It's a really cool feature and makes things a lot easier to use. So now that we've got it hooked up, let's just look at the basics of the unit here. Really straightforward. You've got a volume knob. So that's the post volume, which means the recorded loop volume. So after you've recorded the loop, you can control the entire volume of it, which means if you wanted to sing along, accompany a loop that you've created, you could turn down the loop a little to sing over top of it or turn up the loop and sing something underneath. It just gives you a basic control over the loop volume. Next, you've got two buttons here, and there is a key element to having two buttons in terms of the controls. You've got a loop button, which handles your loop, which is record, play, and overdub. And play and overdub can be reversed in their application, but I'll talk to you a little bit about that later on. You also then have a stop and clear button. Now, it's really important that we have a stop and clear button separately because it allows you to erase silently. So when you want to record a loop, you press the loop button, and the red light comes on and indicates that it's recording. When you've finished your loop, you press the loop button again, and in this particular mode, it starts playing back, which is indicated by green. When you want to do an overdub, which is to put another layer of audio on top of that first loop, simply press the loop button again, and it starts recording. And you can end that at any time. The first loop is the one that sets the duration of the entire loop, and you can do small overdubs in little pieces throughout the loop wherever you want. They don't have to be the full length of your first loop. When you're done with that, you can press stop. That stops the loop, and you'll notice that the green light is flashing there. That basically says there's a loop in here. And what's really cool is that that loop stays in there even when you power the device down. So when you come back, if you've got a really cool loop that was there last time, it'll still be there. If you press and hold the stop button, it'll take a second here, and then it will clear, and that gives you the erase functionality. And of course, that's the silent erase, so you don't have to do it on one button. You've got a whole separate button just for stopping and erasing, which is really, really neat. You can also control the looper as I pull my mic back up. Ooh. Oh, I almost did the cool like rockstar mic thing, but not quite. You can also control the looper from the MP75 or E835 effects microphone. So I've got it set up right here where I can press the button once and you'll see the red light come on for record. Press it again and it plays back. Press it again and it starts overdubbing. Close the overdub. I can double tap to stop, and then you'll see it's gone into flash mode. I'm going to play it again here. If I'd like to undo the layer that I put on there, I can do that in two different ways, from the microphone or from the switches. From the switches, just press and hold the loop button, and after a couple of seconds you'll see a quick flash on the green light, and that will tell you that you've undone the most recent layer of recording. Now, of course, that layer, if you let the overdub run through several cycles of the loop, could actually be comprised of a bunch of different components of the song, which you could kind of tear down all at once. If you press and hold again, you see it flash, and it brings them all back, which is redo. Now on the mic, same deal. If I press and hold the button there, it performs the undo, and I press and hold the button, and it performs the redo for me. To stop on the mic is a double tap, like that, and it stops. And when I'm playing, if I do a double tap and hold, that gives me erase. So double tap and hold, and away goes the loop. That's essentially it. There's not a lot more to it, which is the beauty of this whole thing. You can stick a mic on anything you want. It can be vocals, it can be a horn section, it could be a guitar, percussion instruments, the lights over here. I mean, anything that you want that you can mic, you can loop with Ditto Mic Looper. So there's a couple of little variants of the way it works that I'll show you right now. So let's check it out. So we're going to look at how to enable mic control. So you've got your unit here. The enable and disable for mic control happens during the power up cycle, which means as you're plugging the unit in, you're going to hold a button to enable mic control. So I'm just going to put down the mic here so I can use both hands. What you'll do is when the unit is not powered up, you'll hold the loop button and then connect the power. So now you'll see that mic control no longer works. I'm pressing the buttons here and nothing is happening. That's because I held down the loop button when I powered up. Now let's go back and reverse the process and bring mic control back. So I'll unplug the power there, hold down the loop button, plug it in. You see a couple of flashes on the green light, and lo and behold, mic control works again, which is really great. As I showed you in the first example, the unit ships with the ability to do record, then play, then overdub. As you get more advanced with looping, you may want things to happen in terms of the layering a little bit more quickly, where you'd want a record and then an overdub immediately and then a playback. The way you get into that, and I'll show you the difference between the two, is that you hold down both buttons while you power up the unit. So similarly to turning on and off mic control by just holding the loop button, this one is a hold both buttons and then plug it in. So let's show you record, play, overdub mode. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and then I add something else. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm making a Feist song there. I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I press and hold the stop button to delete. And now I am going to push both of those buttons when I power up. So here I go, both buttons. It's going to flash a little bit there for me. In record, overdub, play mode, you can more quickly get to the second layer of recording. Check it out. And I have that beat there right away. One of the downsides to looping, I think for any loop artist, somebody who's trying to learn how to loop in front of an audience, is it's kind of the don't bore us, get to the chorus. When you sit there and you do long repetitive loops, say you need 8 bars of looping, you got to beatbox for 8 bars and another 8 bars on top of that. The faster you can get something of sort of value built up, the more engaging the performance is going to be. So you may find that as you progress in your looping capability that you want to move things to record, overdub, play mode so you can get to the fun part faster. So there you go, that's the other mode. I'll just show you here. I told you about how that it will save the loops when you power it down. So let's power it down, power it back up again, and lo and behold, the loop's still there. So get on out there, make a whole lot of noise with Ditto Mic Looper. It's a super fun product to use, and as you can see, extremely simple to set up and get going. If you have the mic control, that can really add some fun to it as well because you can run around the stage. You can use this in conjunction with any other vocal processor that's out there. We like to maybe stick like a mic mechanic or say a harmony singer or something like that, another little pedal in with it. Keep in mind that where you place Ditto Mic Looper is important in terms of how it affects your loop. So if you put say the mic mechanic, if you put it after Ditto Mic Looper, anything in the loop, right, will come in dry and then be processed through the effects afterwards, which means you could change the effects and what is being looped would have those effects applied to it. Or conversely, you could put the mic mechanic in front of Ditto Mic Looper, and then those effects would be recorded into the Ditto Mic Looper, and you could kind of maybe change effects between layers and things like that. If you were running, any other product that had like a single or something that had megaphone or whatever, you could put it in there when you wanted, and then it could be stored as part of the loop. So it's a couple of different methods that you can employ based on how you want to use things in your productions. Okay, take care. Thanks for watching.